Now, procrastination is not just about being lazy or disorganized. In fact, I would argue heavily against referring to it with the word lazy at all. It is far more nuanced than that. At its core, procrastination is the art of delaying or postponing tasks. But it's not just any delay, it's a voluntary one, where we choose to put off tasks, despite knowing that we're going to be worse off for doing so. It's the paper that we push to the last minute, the email that we keep marking as unread, or even that morning jog that we skip for just a few more minutes under the covers. You might think, well, isn't procrastination just another word for being lazy? The answer is a resounding no. Laziness implies a lack of desire to work or exert effort, whereas procrastination is an active process. You decide to do something else in place of the task you're avoiding. It's not an absence of action, but rather a misdirection of energy. And procrastination is a terrifyingly common behavior. Whether it's a student delaying their study for exams, a professional pushing back on a project deadline, God damn it, the words, or even someone avoiding making important life decisions. You know who you are. Procrastination knows no bounds. It spans the ages, it spans the professions, and it spans personalities. Like the honey badger, it doesn't give a shit. But why do we procrastinate? On the surface, it might seem like we're avoiding the task at hand, but often we're avoiding something much deeper. It's the emotion associated with that task. Fear of failure, fear of success, perfectionism, or even just the discomfort of starting something new can lead us all to procrastinate. Understanding procrastination requires us to look beyond the mere act of delay and into the complex interplay of emotions, motivations, and even our environment. It's a behavior deeply rooted in our psychological makeup, influenced by factors both within and outside of our control. As we delve into today's topic, please keep in mind that procrastination is not an indictment of your character, but a universal experience that can be understood, managed, and even overcome. And that's exactly what we're going to explore together in this episode. So now that we've established what procrastination is, let's look at some of the psychology behind it. Why do we find ourselves caught in this cycle of delay, even when we know it's against our best interests?
It's a trap!
Procrastination is often misunderstood as a simple lack of willpower or time management, but at its core is deeply rooted in our psychology. It's not just about the task at hand, it's about how we feel about the task, how we manage the emotions around it, and how we perceive our ability to handle it. One of the primary psychological factors at play is the concept of instant gratification. So our brains, the wonderful things that they are wired to prioritize immediate rewards over future benefits. This means that when we're faced with a choice between doing something pleasurable now or tackling a less enjoyable task with future benefits, our instinct is to choose the immediate pleasure. Another key factor is our fear of failure. This fear can be paralyzing, leading us to avoid starting a task that we're not confident about. The irony is that by procrastinating, we only increase the likelihood of the very failure that we're trying to avoid. It becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy where our fear of not meeting expectations leads us to engage in behaviors that make failure more probable. Perfectionism also plays a significant role in procrastination. Many of us hold ourselves to ridiculously high standards, and the pressure to produce something perfect can be overwhelming. In an attempt to avoid producing work that doesn't meet these standards, we tend to delay starting entirely. But as we know, the perfect is often the enemy of the good. Decision fatigue contributes to procrastination as well. Every day, we are faced with a multitude of decisions, and each one depletes just a little bit more of our mental energy. By the time we get to the tasks that we are less enthusiastic about, we may simply just not have the cognitive resources left to be able to engage with them. It's also important to consider the role of our self-identity and how we tie our self-worth to our achievements. For some, the possibility of failing at a task isn't just a setback, it's seen as a reflection of their worth as a person. This creates a high emotional stake in every endeavor, where the fear of failure is not just about the task, but about what failure says about them. Understanding the psychology of procrastination can give us an insight into not just why we procrastinate, but how we can begin to address it. By recognizing these underlying factors, we can start to develop strategies that tackle procrastination at its roots, rather than just hacking away at the symptoms.